just as Peter, capital D E H N N E.
Capital D E
A.
D A. Okay.
Then D A H N N E. E.
N N E.
Then Daniels, capital D
A N R E L
S.
X.
There are several of them in me. You got her name?
No, her name.
Oh, you need her name too?
No, I just the.
Oh, okay.
Monterey County. This is Radio Monrovia 92.1 FM. From the heart of the city, this is Radio Monrovia.
National Social Security and Welfare Corporation.
It's all about tomorrow. Touches the life of everyone. Don't just obey. Yeah. Feel about the future. Look up for me in the time of trouble. Be there for my family tomorrow. Look up for me in the time of trouble. Be there for my family tomorrow. I'm so day. I have myself, I'm almost up to dawn, no way. National Social Security and Welfare Corporation. We provide social protection in case of injuries, sickness, and death. We provide insurance and income. Yeah. Hello, people. I know this life is wrong. If I should die before I work, then I'll be going to be poor. Death you can't escape. With National Social Security, rest assured your family safe. Benefits are surely paid. Now who will look up for me in the time of trouble? Now who will be there for my family tomorrow? Now who will look up for me in the time of trouble? Now who will be there for my family tomorrow?
National Social Security and Welfare Corporation. Benefit provider. We provide medical benefits, retirement pension, cash benefits, survivor's benefit, and validity benefits. NASSCORP touches the life of everyone.
Yeah. Think about the future. Look up for me in the time of trouble. Now who will be there for my family tomorrow? Now who will look up for me in the time of trouble? Now who will be there for my family tomorrow? I'm so day. I have myself, I have bucket on no way. National Social Security and Welfare Corporation. We provide social protection in case of injuries.
National Social Security and Welfare Corporation.
It's all about tomorrow. Touches the life of everyone. Don't just obey. Yeah. Think about the future. Look up for me in the time of trouble. Now who will be there for my family tomorrow? Now who will look up for me in the time of trouble? Now who will be there for my family tomorrow? I'm so day. I have myself, I'm almost up to dawn, no way. National Social Security and Welfare Corporation. We provide social protection in case of injuries, sickness, and death. We provide insurance and income. Yeah. Hello, people. I know this life is wrong. If I should die before I wake, then I'll be going to be poor. Death you can't escape. But with National Social Security, rest assured your family safe. Benefits are surely paid. Now who will look up for me in the time of trouble? Now who will be there for my family tomorrow? Now who will look up for me in the time of trouble? Now who will be there my family tomorrow.
National Social Security and Welfare Corporation. Your benefit provider. We provide medical benefits, retirement pension, cash benefits, survivor's benefit, and validity benefits. National, it touches the life of everyone.
Yeah. Think about the future. Will look up for me in the time of trouble. Now who will be there for my family tomorrow? Now who will look up for me in the time of trouble? Now who will be there for my family tomorrow? I'm a so day. I have myself, I won't know what they done, no way. It go. National Social Security and Welfare Corporation. We provide social protection. In case of injury, sickness.
National Social Security and Welfare Corporation.
Hello and welcome to your favorite program, the NASSCORP Hour. The NASSCORP Hour is a 55 minutes live, informative, and interactive talk show designed to inform and educate the public on NASSCORP's functions and its activities. We are coming to you from Radio Monrovia 92.1 FM with relays on ELBC 99.9, Liberty Broadcasting Services, Sino 105.5, Laksa Radio Buchanan 92.5 FM, Puma Bomi 106.5 FM, Classic Radio Kakata 93.9 FM, Radio Light Zozo Lofa 92.5 FM, and the Voice of Firestone 89.5 FM. As we are all aware, NASSCORP is an acronym for the National Social Security and Welfare Corporation. My name is S. Dan Daniels, your host and presenter, sitting in for Madam Cora Taylor-Ferguson. Please stay tuned, and we'll be back with your favorite informative talk show, the NASSCORP Hour.
National Social Security and Welfare Corporation. Your benefit provider. We provide medical benefits, retirement pension, cash benefits, survivor's benefit, and validity benefits. National, it touches the life of everyone.
Yeah. Think about the future. Will look up for me in the time of trouble. Now who will be there for my family tomorrow? Now who will look up for me in the time of trouble? Now who will be there for my family?
Thank you very much, and welcome back to the NASSCORP Hour, live from Radio Monrovia 92.1 FM on the east bank of the St. Paul River. I would like to point out to you the principal objectives of the NASSCORP Hour. Here they are. The NASSCORP Hour is here to enhance the public's understanding of the nature and functions of NASSCORP, to minimize the misinformation and wrong perceptions about NASSCORP amongst the Liberian populace, to promote NASSCORP's work at the community level and amongst the Liberian people, to stimulate payments of Social Security contributions by all institutions operating in Liberia, to inform employees about their rights to Social Security benefits, as well as their responsibility to ensure that monthly contributions deducted on behalf of employees are shared by them and their employers, and to disseminate information to the general public on the programs, services, and benefits provided by NASSCORP. A fact of life is, we all know that to earn an income, we have to work. As a matter of fact, with a reasonable income, we can sustain ourselves, our families, and we can save for the future and important things in life. In spite of our best efforts, however, sometimes the income we make cannot fully sustain us, especially in times of great need. When we have trouble in our lives, we often find out that having a limited income makes it difficult to live and provide for our families. It also makes it difficult to save for the future. While our jobs may sometimes provide temporary assistance, we all know that we need more than just temporary assistance. This is why Social Security is important. Social Security can provide important income protections and safety by coming to your support when you are most in need. Social Security, it touches the life of everyone. Today on the NASSCORP Hour, here in studio, we have with us one who is not new to the NASSCORP Hour, but who is now the Assistant Director General of Regional Operations of the National Social Security and Welfare Corporation Republic of Liberia. A woman who has worked and toiled and done all she can to lift up NASSCORP and its profile. We welcome to our mic this morning, this afternoon, preferably, Madam Esatu Ville Cheeks. Madam Cheeks, we say welcome.
Good afternoon, Darius. Thanks for having me. And also, good afternoon to our listeners.
Thank you very much. We are going to focus on what's your view today. But before we get there, we would like to hear from our regional operations. And who better to talk about regional operations than the Assistant Director General of that division of NASSCORP, Madam Esatu Ville Cheeks. Madam Cheeks?
Yes, sir.
Thank you for coming today, and thank you for being a part of this discussion. Our people around the country are concerned about NASSCORP. They want to know about how NASSCORP works. Where do we first start from? How is it we carry out our activities? Can you just jump in there and start us off on the role of your division at NASSCORP?
Sure. Thank you again. And although you try to make me feel like I've been doing this forever, I have to say that it feels a little bit strange because it's been a while now. I'm very excited to be here to provide information to the public about Social Security, especially as it relates to what we are doing at regional operations. I wish I could put it in simple English, but anyway.
It would be good if you do so, because a lot of our listeners
to get the message,
yeah.
Because you see, that's where sometimes they even get kind of confused. They come from all the way, far away counties to Monrovia to get simple things done when they can just do it right where they are. Anyway, we'll try. We'll be in between.
Please do that for us.
So firstly, I'll say regional operations started officially as a unit or a division of NASSCORP in 2010. Okay, and the purpose of the establishment now of this unit was and is to provide, I would say, easy service to our people, convenient, not affordable but accessible. So we know that we're across the country, and so to help them access NASSCORP services more easily, more conveniently, these regional offices were established. And so, firstly, we do registration of entities in regional operations. And so, if somebody establishes a business, and by law it's stated that once you establish a business in the Republic of Liberia, 15 days after the establishment of such business, you have to register your entity and the employees with NASSCORP. So let's just say you're in Harper or you're in Plebo, right? And you establish a business there. You don't have to come all the way to Monrovia to register that business with NASSCORP.
You see, because I was just about to ask you, just exactly what you said. What if I went to Harper or I went
Blokonjide
to do my business?
Yeah.
Do I have to come to the Monrovia office, obtain my registration papers, and go through all that rigor at Monrovia?
No, you don't have to. And if time permits, we'll walk you through how it's done at the regional offices. Okay? So you don't have to. So we register, we detect firstly entities that are existing that have registered with the Republic, and then we ensure that they get registered with NASSCORP, because our job is to protect workers And so for us to be able to do that is to have you firstly in our system. So once we have you registered, we do collections. I'm stating the core functions of regional operations.
Okay.
Basically what we do collections of contributions. So obviously, the program, I'm sure that has been said in time past on the show here, that at NASSCOP we run two schemes, the injury and the pension. So to be able to run them, there has to be contributions paid by employers. And I mean, that breakdown can come later on, maybe by another unit responsible for that. But regional operations also has the responsibility to go out there, although also to make it easier, or as much as we can make it easy for employers, you can also go to 24th Street to pay your contributions to NASSCOP. By law, I believe it's 89.16G of our act states that you make your contribution payment monthly.
Okay.
So we know there are instances where people will opt to pay 3 months, 6 months, or even up to a year. It's not lawful. It's not lawful. Okay, the law says per month, and that's how we even pay the pension out per month.
So, Madam Chief, you've been talking about how NASSCOP helps employers and make it easier for them to be a part of the Social Security program, right where they establish their businesses in the various counties, because that's where we have our local offices called regional offices. But what about the employees? How does NASSCOP regional offices serve our employees? I just want you to say a little bit about it. We're going a deeper, but how do we reach out to employees, to workers?
Yes, so firstly, let me just say that if an entity is registering with NASSCOP, that entity registers the business, as a separate unit, and obtains a 7-digit social security number with which NASSCOP, interacts with that entity, and then registers the employees.
Okay.
Because for us to be able to even cater, as you are asking, is for us to know who they are, where are they, which entities, are they with. So the registration of them allows us to know, for example, John Brown Business Center has 20 employees because they're in our system. And so the couple of different things we do with the employees. For example, when we register them, we give them ID cards.
Okay.
The ID cards ensure that it gives them that physical membership with NASSCOP, while we also make it our business to go out there and collect the contributions on their behalf, so that when they, in the course of their work, for example, will sustain injury while they were working, NASSCOP takes care of them, that. And so to be able to do that, we have to, have information on you first, and then your entity has to be current with payment, okay?
So to quickly recap, NASSCOP provides opportunity for employers to register their businesses, the entities, just where they are in any part of the country.
Wherever you are, you don't have to come to Monrovia.
And these same employers have the opportunity when they come to register their businesses with NASSCOP, they also come along with the listing of their employees to register them with NASSCOP.
So let me just quickly go through that. Now we have 3 forms that we consider for our registration process. One is the Form 1, is the one that registers the entity, right? The business. The Form 2 registers the employee, so we call that the employee registration form.
Okay.
So that's where your basic information and NASSCOP will require in the future as to how to deal with you if there was a claim file, for example, if we had to take care of your dependents, for example. That form is the one that informs us on who are those that you are considering to be your dependents or your survivors.
Okay.
And then we have the Form 3. So the Form 2 will be filled out individually. Each employee will fill it out very uniquely, no erasers, no 2-color pens, and then you attach a passport size photo that we'll be able to use to print your ID card and give you your own unique social security number.
Now that you've mentioned own unique social security number, there's an issue I want to ask about. On this show, we have high calls where folks have said, oh, I'm working for this employer, they are deducting the social security contributions for me, but I do not have a social security ID card. Well, how do you treat that in the regions?
So first thing first, everybody listening should know that once NASSCOP has issued you an ID card, even 10 or 20 years afterward, the system allows us to know that we've issued you an ID card. So there's no way you can evade that to say you don't got an ID card because maybe you lost it or it got damaged or something and you want another one. You want it, there is a way you can get it. But to go directly to the way you put it, everybody is by our practice, by our policy, is supposed to have a social security number, one number. Now, some people will say, oh, I got two numbers. That was because before 2009, I believe it was, we had different digits. Some had 5 digits, some had 6, some even had letters in the social security number. No, those would be from the old time. And so to be able for NASSCOP to have made it uniformed in 2009, yes, there was this change of the social security number from whatever digits we had to the 9 digits. So every employee has to make sure that you do not exceed 9 to not exceed, but you do not have 2 9-digit social security numbers. If you have, it's a problem. It means you are double in the system. It means you probably provided information that allow the system to give you another number. So to avoid that, maintain your name. Some people will be John S. Brown in one entity. They go to another entity, they put a full name for the S, and then make John the middle name with G and Brown. When you do those kinds of things, especially if you cannot, give us your social security number at that time, the system will generate another number for you. Okay. So there's since we do registration is why I'm going into this, but also I don't know if you already brought in the registration department.
The registration department, they're here to talk about these processes.
Yes.
In registering with NASSCOP.
Yeah, because there's still a lot on my plate.
Is this issue of how do we deal with employees and contractors? Because also contractors are also part of the social security program, who are working for an employer. The employer has not registered that worker or those workers with NASSCOP, but they are making the deductions of social security contributions from the workers.
Yeah. So I would say that's one of the unique nature of NASSCOP in terms of how it deals, very fairly with our clients, our contributors. So somebody may be scared that I do not have a number and they're deducting from me. What happens in the end is what should have happened in the beginning. So should that person, make a request or a claim to NASSCOP, definitely we'll have to register that person before we even go into processing anything. So you see, the thing that should have happened from the beginning as a result of the negligence of either the employer, and you know what? I don't even want to put it squarely on the employer. As an employee, you see that deductions are made from your paycheck every month. What stops you from inquiring as to why these deductions are made and where are they going and how can you be connected to them? How can you tomorrow in the future make a claim on those deductions from the paycheck?
And that is where your social security ID card comes in.
Exactly, and so that's the responsibility of the employee. So let's just say the employer had an oversight, or maybe the employer was just reckless, or not paying attention to details and did not register you as an employee. But every month you see social security deductions on your paycheck. Why doesn't it claim your attention to make an inquiry with your employer? So that, because you see, we will not be able to track all of those down as NASSCOP.
Okay.
Which will be our part. We have this 3-party stuff: the employer, the employee, and NASSCOP.
Yeah.
Relationship. So as an employee, it should be your responsibility to impress upon your employer to make sure that you are registered with NASSCOP.
So you hear that, employees, those of you out there who have not yet registered with NASSCOP and your employer is taking the 4% contributions from you, it is your responsibility, according to our Assistant Director General for Regional Operations here, to approach your employer and request your Social Security ID card. You already know, we don't charge you to get your Social Security ID card. We issue it free of charge the very first time you receive it. So make it your business. If your money is being deducted for Social Security and you do not have a Social Security ID card, go out there to your employer, approach him respectfully, and obtain your Social Security ID card. It is your right to get your Social Security ID card. Please, we'll be right back.
National Social Security and Welfare Corporation provides social protection.
Welcome back to your most informative and interactive talk show, the NASSCORP Hour. In the studio this afternoon, we have Madam Esatu Vilchix, Head and ADG of the Regional Operations Department. We'll come to that later. So, Madam Cheeks got some things she want to tell us about how her department carried out its work. And we want to just give up. I know you listeners and you callers are all anxious now. You want to put your calls through. We soon be there. But we got to hear from the regional operations how they carry out their work. So we gave Madam Cheeks an opportunity to tell us a little bit more about the functions of regional operations.
Okay, thank you very much. And I was saying to you when we had a break that we'll take our time, and if we don't finish, you'll have to invite us again.
Oh, certainly.
You know, because the point is we want our people to get the message as clearly and they can understand it as well, right? So I mentioned to you earlier on two functions of RO, regional operations, and we talked about registering. We explained to you a little bit of how we do that. So at the level of the regional offices, when you are registering your businesses, there are requirements. Because first of all, for you to be registered with NASSCORP is for you to be registered with the state. So since registration has already been here, I assume that they've covered that already. So I will not kill time on that. We talked about collections, how we go about it. In our regional offices, we have the directors, or if there's a need, I will go and receive. They will go from entity to entity in that workspace and collect contributions from them based on the records that they have, and issue them a temporary receipt that will be sent to Monrovia, and then a what we call blue copy receipt, which is the official NASSCORP receipt, will be sent back to the regional offices for onward submission to the entities. And that's how it works. In Monrovia, because of its size and the number of entities, we have our collectors or our collections into 4 zones. Okay, we have zone 1 to zone 4, and we have a team in each of those zones that will go out to do collections, and they will also issue our receipts. And it's always important for employers to obtain the official NASSCORP receipts, because when the inspectors go out periodically, they should go twice a year. When they go out to do inspections, they will ask you for that receipt or those receipts. And if you are claiming that you've made payment, it's only those receipts that will vindicate your claims, so that you can be in good standing with NASSCORP. Always have your receipts. Make sure when you make your payment, you receive that blue official receipts from NASSCORP.
Okay.
Yes, and then one other major thing we do is we process claim.
Okay.
And it's a big one, because we're talking about all of the different benefits that NASSCORP pays out to the Republic. All of them are channeled through regional operations. As a matter of fact, nobody makes a claim directly even to our headquarters. So again, to make life easier for our people, wherever you are, if there is a reason to make a claim to the corporation for whatever benefit, you go to that regional office in your zone, and in a moment we'll come to where they are to just tell you where they're located. I know you've been announcing them before. So you go there with requirements. Each benefit you'll be requesting, each of them has.
Now, I want us to pause a little bit here, because this is where our people come in.
Okay.
NASSCORP has been are the workers of Liberia.
Mm-hmm.
And these workers of Liberia, when they work all their lives, they turn to NASSCORP at the end of the day when they are retired for their benefits.
Yeah.
So from what you are telling me regarding regional operations in our regional offices, if a worker lives in Sino County, for an example, when they get retired, because they were working and living in Sino County, that worker does not have to come all the way down to the Monrovia office to get processed. Am I right?
You are right. So you don't have to come you don't have to come to Monrovia for virtually everything, except wherein, for example, we have to do your fingerprints, because we try to ensure security measures that will not allow us NASSCORP to pay benefit out to the wrong person. So doing the fingerprint of a beneficiary is part of the process to ensure that one, because it's not decentralized, as in we don't have the equipment, at the regional offices at that point in time. But even at that, we have other ways we go around it with the regional director, okay? And so you would definitely do everything. Submit your document right there. If there are issues, they will communicate with you. Even when the files are sent to us in Monrovia and we recognize any errors on it, we send it back, or we remain on the phone with the regional director or the regional office concerned and make the corrections. So it means still that the beneficiary does not have to come to Monrovia to correct whatever errors.
So none of our retirees who are just retired, who have not started receiving the retirement pension yet from NASSCORP, needs to leave the counties and come to the Monrovia office for any other reason, unless we invite them.
Yeah.
Am I right about that?
Yes, because some
Unless
of
we
them may
invite
need
them.
to come. For example, if somebody made a request for IP or
Which is invalidated pension.
if invalidated pension or a permanent disability claim, you have to see the medical code. And even at that, NASSCORP assumes that NASSCORP takes on the responsibility of transporting and everything that person. So like you said, it will be on the invite on NASSCOP to come. So, but you do everything right there where you are. Now, there are places across our country where there are challenges with things. So because of that, we introduced the mobile money.
Like it
So you
back
can-
in
you-
2019.
Exactly. So you can see how we even further, are trying to ensure that our beneficiaries are, they don't have to go through a lot of hassle to transact with us. So if you don't have a bank in your area, right, you can do mobile money.
Okay.
Although there are 3 counties that are exempt from it, Margibi, Pasa, and Montserrat, because these places will have a proliferation of banks all over the place, at least as compared to maybe county like Papu or even Cape Mount or in Nima because of its size. So you can do mobile money, which means you still have your money close to you. Now, in the event where a beneficiary, because of whatever condition, maybe health or whatever reason, relocates or moves over to Monrovia, you have the responsibility to write NASSCOP, let us know that you've moved to Monrovia and you are requesting that, for example, maybe the bank you were with, where you were in the interior, in the region, outside of Montserrat, you want a particular bank here.
Okay.
Or if you were on mobile money and you're in Monrovia, obviously you have to be transitioned to a bank. So, it works that way easily to ensure that beneficiaries, transact with us conveniently.
Okay. So before we take our second break in the show, and obviously you won't be able to complete everything today, so we need to have you back here another time.
Okay.
We want to call out these numbers to our listeners out there: 0777 921 921, 0881 356900. You can call us on any one of those numbers to state your concern, to ask your questions regarding what our guest in studio, Madam Chase, is telling us. So right after this brief break, we will open the lines while we go on and talk a little bit more about what we do at regional operations.
Sure.
Hello, people. I know this life is wrong. If I should die before I wake up, I'll become people. If you can't escape, but with national social security, it's a shame that God said. Benefits to show okay. Now who will look up for me in the time of trouble? Now who will be there for my family tomorrow? Now who will look up for me in the time of trouble?
Hello? Hello, what is your name and where are you calling from? Yes, Marvin, go ahead.
So my wife, myself, we went to Nima. There for 1 year, 9 months, we came back. was writing to NASSCORP. In that letter, they said that I was sick. They did not specify my accident. They did not specify that I went through accident, my broke my two legs. So that's my concern.
What I can say to you is, I probably will have your number if you could give your number on air or so, and then I will get your number from the studio. I will call you back after the program to understand what exactly you're saying and see whether there is anything in our system for us to be able to help you out. Yeah.
Yeah, you're breaking you.
I said I will call you back after the program. I'll get your number from the studio and call you back.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, man.
Hello, hello.
Yeah, my name is James Kuku. I used to work for University of Liberia. Since February, I'm not getting paid, and I renewed my Social Security ID card.
You are a beneficiary of NASSCORP, right?
Yes, I am.
Did you renew your ID card in February and March when we went out doing it?
Yes, I did it.
So you say since that time you have not yet received?
Yes, since February, I'm not getting paid.
So then we'll check on it and get back to you because everybody else has got their pension benefits. We'll get back to you.
Okay, so we'll call you to give us your social number and then we can make an inquiry around that, yeah?
Okay.
Okay.
All right, bye.
So I think you can go on and just
Okay.
tell us a little bit more about
Yeah,
what
sure.
you
So
want to
the
do.
other thing we do at regional operations is we provide education. So in the course of collecting contributions and registering entities, we do provide education to those that may need it. It's important to state that we do. Okay, we have a caller.
Hello, how are you?
Hello.
Hello, what's your name and where are you calling from?
I'm putting down. I'm an employee from Nigeria. I was retired. I've done a company. I'm not receiving anything. And also, I really want to stop. I don't know if you guys are one of you. I really want to stop our interested in 1988. With finance to Nigeria. Up to now, I got really on the job. I'm not receiving any benefits. I'm not coming for anything. I really want to know if my employer supposed to send my accident report to you guys. But because I was retired mostly because of the problem on the job, they not did it for me, and they said they sent me to NASSCORP to be retired. So I want to get some information about that.
So you see, we keep asking or keep saying that we'll get back. This is because we need to get a full story from you and then check with our system and see what's there before we can advise you. So it's a claim that you're making that you filed, a claim to NASSCORP before. We need all the information and we cannot get all of them on air right now. So again, we get your number from the studio and then we'll call you afterward to get all the facts and then help you out. Okay?
Yes, because I left the office to call me to go and do something that did. But I have a question to visit the office.
Yes.
So who knows the job is this time, so not sending any information on that. I don't know. And I'm still having a problem, I'm here DMT and all. I don't get any details about it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Okay, we'll definitely call you back when we should have heard everything. Then we'll ask our system what the story is and then we'll advise you, yeah? Okay.
Is there another caller on the line? Hello? I think we got to let that call.
The feedback is terrible.
The terrible feedback we received.
Okay, while we're waiting another call, do we have one?
Hello? What's your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, I'm telling you,
Yeah, what's your name? What's your name?
Sonny Tennant.
Oh, Sonny Tennant.
Yeah. I think after the meeting, after they told me, please call me again. I have problem.
Yeah. We'll certainly call you.
Yeah, please, just send me where.
All right.
Thank you very much. Oh, man. Oh.
Is there another caller on the line?
Hello.
Hello. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Yeah. What's the concern?
My concern is that my director, my auntie got 15th Street to register my auntie got was telling what I had that one. I want to walk. And said she could have. So I want for the please check that for me. I can text my auntie number to you.
Okay, so what I will do for you, Mr. Suma, we will call you back after the show to pick up your details here.
Thank you.
And, you know, and Avi, just before we take another call, I want you, he's sick. He's unable to get out. I want you to talk about what NASSCOP does for those our beneficiaries who find themselves in a position where they are bedridden or they are disabled and cannot move out.
Yeah, sure. Matter of fact, we would not even compelling him to come under that condition that he asked. So even if he sends somebody to NASSCOP, right, NASSCOP will still send a staff from the beneficiary service to go there to him and be able to help him out. So most likely that has been what has happened, unless he's saying that they took the ID card and we don't know what the full story is. When we get that, we check with the beneficiary service department, and they would definitely send a staff there to be able to help him out. He's not compelled to come to NASSCOP under that condition.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Yes. Good afternoon. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, I'm Lawrence calling from Last Street.
Go ahead, Mr. Sumo.
Lawrence, yeah, I have a concern. My concern is, you know how much you have put for NASSCOP in case of pensioning?
I didn't get out any part of it. You say how much?
Yes, how much you are putting with NASSCOP? Well, long time you have been working. I want to know how much I have put for NASSCOP.
It will be hard for us to know how much you put there on. So, because, yeah, we first of all, we got to look at how long you've been working, where all you've been working, how much you've been making. So we can only tell, for example, if we had information before us, if you tell us that you've been working for 10 years, and all those 10 years, you very, very sure that they were paying money to NASSCOP for you, then it means 10 times 12 hours, 120. So it means now you have contributed 120 months to NASSCOP. That is only information we can give you now. But in terms of the amount, we are unable to give you that because there are other things that we look at.
And what she means, Mr. Sumo, is that we sitting down in a studio, we cannot tell you how much, but we can provide you your contribution statements. All the years and months that you have been working and making contributions to Social Security, we can give you that information on how much you have contributed to your Social Security pension fund. Two ways it can happen. One, your employer should have been giving us the payroll through the email. Then we can make that information available to you. But if you have been working with employers who still been giving us hard copy payrolls, then you will have to come and visit any one of our offices around the country. Thank God you drive on 9th Street. So you either go to the 15th Street office or to the 24th Street office and ask the people there, just tell them, say, I came to know about my contribution to NASSCOP. I want that information. And then they will work with you and get the information they need to get from you so they can check on your contributions and give you the response.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Is there another caller on the line? Hello? What's your name and where are you calling from? Yeah, Brother Alfred.
Yeah. According to what you said, that if you live out of the city, Monrovia, you need not to come to Monrovia But some of us were in there, this hospital will receive our force in the office and profession. Then that time we are still here, our hospital are in our office, and we are not even getting a group at the green card. How we come about?
You say you are hospitalized right now?
No, I'm going here now and go and get those that come back. We're here now. When I here, I all my kids back the FPG. So I don't want to go back to plan. Let me know what I want to go back to what this stuff and I want to go to the
You say you have done your fingerprint and all year at the Monrovia office?
Yes, at FPG.
So then you don't have to worry. When you go back home at River G, send your benefits to, right? Once we have taken your fingerprints and other things right in Monrovia, when you go back home, we'll be sending your money there to you when we're paying you every month. You hear? But Abby, you won't say
Yes,
something
but
at
let-
them.
Yes, so let me just put it this way to you. Since you didn't hear in Monrovia, and you say you're not well, you're here for some time, until maybe you can feel better before you can go. Maybe that sometimes can be 6 months, 1 year, what we don't know. But definitely you have to get your money from NASSCOP. You got to receive your benefit. So whatever bank that you have already told NASSCOP they should be paying your money to you through, you'll be getting that money from that bank here. When you move back to River G, if maybe you get well and you go back to River G and you know it's there, we got office there in Harper. You reach out to the office, the team there will help you for you to say in River G, how do you get your money? I know I'm not sure there is inflation, there is a bank there, I'm not very sure of that. So if there is no bank there, it means they will have to move you from the bank you own right now, and you with right now, to mobile money in River G. So it's easy, don't worry. Once you get back, you just have to inform the office.
Is there another caller on the line? Hello? Hello? What's your name and where are you calling from? Hello? What's your name and where are you calling from?
Can I ask them to move away from the monitor also?
Yeah, please state your name again. Just move away from the radio. Just walk away from your radio. Hello? That well, me, I've been only if you will go on. Yeah. Okay. Avi, please go ahead.
Yeah, sure. I mean, you know, there's always something to say. So, let me just focus a little bit while we're with the callers to talk about the workflow. Many a times you hear people say, "Oh, I sent my document to NASSCOP. 2 months now." Some of them can use it in 1 week, and they can already be expecting.
Hello?
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 Yes, how you doing, madam?
Fine, thank you. What's your name and where are you calling from? What's your name? Yeah, go ahead. What's your concern? Yes, sir.
And my number is 03-948-41. I'm from Bowling County. But thanks to the whole process, I've not received any benefit to me yet. And I've also got one running down, and running down is responsible for movement. And I sent my document to him. Up to now, no response yet, madam.
Okay, Mr. Connor?
Yes, Mr. Connor. I'm going to do that, Connor.
Yeah, Mr. Connor, we will get back to you. You say you already sent your documents to Valentine, and since you did the process, but now you ought to have got your benefits. But we'll follow up with Mr. Valentine because maybe he too been trying to get to you and be a bit difficult. sometimes the signal in the Bombay area, Cape Town area can be a bit harsh. So we will call you back today, right after the show.
Yeah.
We will call you back, get a little bit more information from you, and before the end of the day, we'll give you a word.
Okay, madam.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon. Where are you calling from? Yeah. What's your name and where are you calling from?
This is Lasana calling from Cinco.
Yeah, Lasana.
Yeah, you know, I want to find out something about maybe after your requirement, how the process can be like before getting on the Social Security payroll.
Oh, okay. So you asked me about how, when you finish making your contribution and you reach the age of retirement, how you can get on the NASSCOP payroll to get your benefit.
Yeah.
So it can happen two ways. There are two ways it can happen. One, if you were working until you turn 60, maybe you're working with one office until you turn 60, the office will write Social Security and say, oh, John Brown or Mr. Lasana has reached the age of 60 and we have retired him or will be retiring him on so and so date. And so we're forwarding him, we're sending him to you, NASSCOP, to give his pension benefit. There are requirements. You come with that letter that the employer will be writing, 2 passport size photo, and then there's a form we call the C1 form that your employer, that the person you're working for, the entity you're working for, will fill that form out and send it to us. Those are just the 3 requirements, and then we will process and you will become NASSCOP beneficiary once you meet all of those conditions, including the contributions requirement. Or if you were not working, maybe when you turn 60, you are not working, but you made contributions to NASSCOP before for some time. You the person can write yourself. You yourself can write NASSCOP and say, my name is John Brown or Mr. Lasana. I work plenty of places. You name all the places, and I make contribution to NASSCOP all the period. I'm 60 years old now, or 61, whatever your age would be at the time, and so I'm requesting NASSCOP to please give me my auto. Now, don't say please. Just say to give my benefit of me.
Yeah,
and right there, we go through the process, the same way, and then you become NASSCOP beneficiary.
Okay. Is there another caller on the line? Good afternoon, caller.
Hello?
Hello. Your name and where you calling from?
I'm calling from Pillsbury Department.
Yes, Mr. Riches.
Okay. It's not restricted to entities or all government entities.
So if you say if a government, all government, but there are other, the law say there are other entities that should not be because of the kind of work they do. For example, entities that are doing business on high sea, the AFL people, then all of the people, they're not part of NASSCOP. But if you say GOL, meaning the government like bureau, all the ministries and agencies, or what we call it state-owned enterprises, everybody.
Okay, I got a situation when you are found is an ex-AFL.
Okay.
So, my father was an ex-AFL.
Mm-hmm.
Can they get the benefit from NASSCOP?
No, AFL not part of it. I know AFL there, no?
AFL is not a part of the Social Security program.
Mm-hmm.
AFL, the Armed Forces of Liberia, is not a part of the Social Security program. She just said it. Yeah, even though it's a government entity, but it's not part of Social Security. Is there
So you will
another-
not receive benefit from NASSCOP for AFL, but you can get benefit from the government of Liberia.
Yeah, the Ministry of Defense. Is there another caller on the line? Hello, caller. Your name and where you calling from?
Morning or good afternoon.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon.
I live in Brooklyn. I'm a beneficiary of NASSCOP.
Yes, sir.
I want to know 2 questions or 2 things that I don't understand. The question first is there any way that NASSCOP can be decentralized from way simple for some of us who live like this, like Fall River? That's number 1. Number 2, is it possible that my money, my benefit, the money will be sent to my mobile money? Because sometimes you are looking out to work than me.
So,
My case, I really want to know this madam because she's very much helpful according to the understanding of all that she's saying and how she's responding to people. Thank you very much.
thank you so much for the compliments. So let me just say on the aspect of decentralizing NASSCOP, the two of us in the studio, we are unable to say yes or no.
Yes.
And I mean, I
Not
think
true. That's good. It's completely
I was
decentralized.
about to explain that to him, but he put it, he narrowed it. He said where he is because he's looking at Poor River to Cinco.
Yeah.
So in Montserrado alone, we have two offices. We have the headquarters, and then we have the regional office on 15th Street. But in any case, we're all the way there in Cinco. So that question, maybe we can ask, our management whether it's possible. But the reality is, it might not be possible because we do have our beneficiaries scattered all over Montserrado in ways that if we start that, I guess they will just have NASSCOP offices all over the place. However, if you are so incapacitated or you are unable to reach NASSCOP for whatever reason, maybe because of health or mobility, as in your health, you can reach out to our office, right, Daniel?
Yes.
The beneficiary service people can come there. You are a beneficiary already of ours, and we can come there and help, serve you. So that's something you can take advantage of, Mr. Sambola. And then on the mobile money, unfortunately, you are in Montserrado, and Montserrado is part of the 3 counties that are not on mobile money. So until otherwise, you may have to just make your way to the bank.
Okay. So we want to say thank you to all of our callers and avid listeners to this program. We want to say thank you to our guest, who is not really a guest, but in the capacity of a guest in this wise. Madam Asadu Vilchis, ADG Regional Operations NASSCOP. Madam Chick, is there something finally you want? I know you didn't complete all the things you wanted to say about regional operations, but just to recap what you said earlier, we will have another day, of course, with you because we got to hear a little bit more about regional operations. Yeah.
So, and that another thing will be basically like unpacking each of our core functions. Yeah, so we'd like to tell you how, for example, registration is carried out, how we process claim. Sometimes it appears to you like, oh, you submitted your claim, and now we have mandated that when a claim is filed without any error whatsoever, regional operation processes that claim in nothing more than 3 days, less than 3 days, between 1 to 3 days. So management is trying so hard to cut down the processing time to maybe a month or less. Yes. So
that would be a very good thing.
Yes. And it's not to suggest that we take any pleasure in delaying, but most of the times it can be that we call in, we can get people, because there will be a point in time in the process that we definitely have to hear from the beneficiary. Because if we don't hear from you, then it's on hold. Then it appears like we're holding your files forever. So I will be really glad to, like break down how the document, the file leaves from one unit to the next and why. And that will be able to help them understand as to why we'll be taking a few weeks to process their benefit payment. So I would just say, Daniel, thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure for us to, have the opportunity to tell the public or our wonderful clients, what we do at NASSCOP.
Yeah, we say thank you too.
Sure.
Thank you, and if you are just joining us, this is the NASSCOP Hour, live from Radio Monrovia 92.1 FM, with relays on ELBC 99.9 FM, Liberty Broadcasting Services, Sino 105.5 FM, Lakeside Radio, Buchanan 92.5 FM, Puma Radio Bomi 106.3 FM, Classic Radio Kakata 93.9 FM, Radio Live Zozo 92.5 FM, and the Voice of Firestone 89.5 FM. We want to tell all these our partners, thank you for being a part of this broadcast today. Until we meet next Monday, we say thank you.
But with national